Meditate on Sri Ramakrishna for the peace and happiness of the whole humanity. Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Stapakaya Chadamasya Sarvadharmasvarupine Stapakaya Chadamasya Sarvadharmasvarupine Avataravarishthaya Ramakrishna-The Namaha. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityormamritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us bow down to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God incarnate. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. In the last class, we have started the topic Sri Ramakrishna, the soul of the Upanishads. Sri Ramakrishna's incarnation has tremendous significance in this modern age. He has come to unify all the religions of the world and also to inspire all the spiritual aspirants following different religions. That's very significant. Religion is the only hope for anybody to resist suffering, to overcome unhappiness, to enjoy, to experience real happiness. People not knowing the supreme value of religion are just neglecting it and just hugging on the secular way of life, totally becoming indifferent towards religion. The result is people are passing through all sorts of disharmony, passing through a very difficult phase. This most precious human life is just being destroyed by not directing in a proper way. Well, what can be done? Those who are sincere, those who really aspire for spiritual experience, they will all come to Sri Ramakrishna. So, Sri Ramakrishna has come to show through his life the message of the Upanishads. How it is uplifting, how it is integrating. And Sri Ramakrishna teaches in a very simple way how to approach religion. You must have some basic formation, very fundamental quality that is required in order to walk through religion, one must have discrimination and renunciation. Sri Ramakrishna has said in the Gospel, nothing achieved without discrimination and renunciation. So, how very important these two factors, we have to cultivate them. Then only you can hope to experience the fruits of spiritual practices. Again, Sri Ramakrishna tells in the Gospel how to cultivate discrimination. What's the way? Sri Ramakrishna himself suggests, turn the mind within. You must consciously, with full awareness, you must know that you are turning the mind within. Because the mind is always going outward. So much so, we don't know really how to turn the mind inward. So, Sri Ramakrishna is pinpointing, religion starts when you turn your mind inward. Simply running, extremely busy. Because you are extremely busy, don't expect God will come and hug you. No. The more busy you will be, the more and more you will become busy. There is no end, because anything in this universe goes to infinity. Bad, infinity. Good, infinity. Anything, material, infinity. Because infinity is the law of nature. There is no beginning, there is no end. Suffering, infinity. So, you have to open up your mind. Open up in a proper way. Sri Ramakrishna, the greatest incarnation, has come to show us how to open the mind. Reading the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna means opening your mind. Turning the mind inwards. The Gospel instructs you in every page, in every line. It is implicit that you should divert your mind inward. Never allow the mind to go outward. So, turning the mind within, you will acquire discrimination. Once you have developed that faculty of discrimination, you think of truth. So, discrimination is extremely important. It is extremely necessary when you are practicing spirituality. Because mind wanders terribly to unreal things. Why man is suffering? Because of the wandering of the mind. Mind continuously wanders. So, man is continuously suffering. The suffering can be overcome only by stopping the wandering of the mind. It is wandering towards unreal. So here comes the supreme value of the application of discrimination. Apply discrimination. Sri Ramakrishna says, these are the words of Sri Ramakrishna. When mind wanders to unreal, apply discrimination. Tremendous, extremely simple, but supreme value. That is how Sri Ramakrishna instructs the spiritual aspirants. So once you are awakened with the quality of discrimination, then you will really work for realization of God. So, Sri Ramakrishna himself, how much he struggled. And so he says, everyone must struggle. It is through struggling only you get into happiness. Simply sitting, you won't get happiness. You are simply dreaming. It is not happiness. Happiness comes only through struggle. Sri Ramakrishna, if you study his life, you find how much he yearned, how much he struggled, and he got the vision of the Divine Mother. He did not seek any help or any guidance of any guru whatsoever. The gurus all came later on. But in the beginning, when Sri Ramakrishna became the worshipper of Kali in the Kali temple, how he wholeheartedly, devotedly, in a dedicated way, completely put his mind at the feet of the Divine Mother. How much he yearned, how much he struggled. Hours and hours he would sit in meditation. And the result was, he got the vision of the Divine Mother. Then everything was over. The whole purpose of spiritual life is just attained by the vision of the Mother. There is nothing more to be attained at all. Later on things occurred only to demonstrate to the people, to convince the people, to authenticate the supreme value of the Upanishads. So, Sri Ramakrishna is rightly said as the soul of the Upanishads. If you touch Sri Ramakrishna, you are touching Upanishads. Yeah. So, how did he struggle? All from within. He had tremendous control over the mind. The mind would never go out. He trained the mind such a way, it would be always within. That is Sri Ramakrishna. And in fact here, his life closely resembles the spiritual quest and fulfillment of a great sage of the Upanishads. His name was Satyakama. It's a very famous episode. As a young boy, he cherished a desire to learn the Vedas. So, he went to the mother and asked her about his ancestry, because You will have to go towards a teacher. He has to approach a teacher, and the teacher will ask ancestry. So I will have to answer. So please tell me my ancestry. Mother for a while became sad, but then she said, well, I don't know, my child, of what ancestry you are. And she says, why is it so? In her youth, she was preoccupied with many household duties and with attending on guests. So many guests would come to her home, and she said she conceived this boy in those days. So she's telling she doesn't know his ancestry. Then she tells him, well, my name is Jabala, mother's name. So if anybody asks your ancestry, you just tell Satyakama Jabala. That's all. Mother's name. Tell. So the boy does not know who the father was. Mother does not know to whom this child was born. She is mother, that's all she knows. Well, but the boy was very sincere, very truthful, very honest, upright, simple. All these extremely exemplary spiritual qualities were in that boy. That is amazing. So he went to a teacher. It comes in, it's a nice story, it comes in the Upanishads. The name of the teacher was Haridrumata Gautama, the name of the teacher. He went and approached him in a humble way. Sir, please teach me Vedas, I want to learn. It was very usual for the teachers to ask for the details. Who are your parents, etc. To know, to measure the depth of the spiritual quality in a person, they would know the ancestry. By ancestry they would be able to gauge. Well, when he was asked, simply he repeated frankly what his mother had told him, though it meant the imminent risk of his being rejected by the Guru. But on the contrary, this great teacher was highly pleased at the truthfulness of this boy. He never hid it, he just told the truth. Then this teacher is concluding, well, by seeing you, by hearing you, by observing you, by looking at you, I come to this conclusion. None but a Brahmana could speak such a damaging truth about himself. But you have told. Because those days the Brahmins were very truthful. So here is a boy who is speaking the truth. So immediately he said, well, I will initiate you and I will teach you. He accepts him as his student. And he appreciated him. He said, you have not swerved from the truth. That's tremendous quality. Anyway, the story goes on. Then, see, those days, they had so many methods of examining the quality of the student, aspirant. And here Gautama gave this Satyakama, he gave him 400 cows. They were very lean. They were extremely weak. They could not even walk properly. He gave all these 400 cows to him, Satyakama, and told him, look, take care of these cows. Take them to the forest. And he should return only when the number has reached 1,000. The 400 cows must become 1,000, then only he can return. Well, the boy, he had tremendous faith and devotion to the Guru. Those days were like that. The Gurus also were like that. They were highly qualified. So, this Jabal Satyakama, he took all the cows into the forest. He spent many years with the herd. One day, the bull of the herd began to speak surprisingly to him. And that bull was telling him, well, we have all grown healthy, we have become strong, we have become 1,000. So, the time has come, we should go back to the ashrama, to the Guru's place. And not only that, more surprising was, he got instruction from that bull about the aspect of Brahman. That was amazing. Anyway, the boy was extremely pure. He could grasp, he could observe the nature, and he could learn the lesson immediately. The intellect has become very sharp. The sharpness of intellect because of the purity. The purity level was so high, there was no dissipation of energy whatsoever. All energy is conserved, and the result is his intellect has become tremendously sharpened. He could, by just looking, he could grasp. So, on subsequent days, he was taught by the fire, a swan, and a diver bird, a bird, about the so many aspects of Brahman. Anyway, he got the teachings of the Upanishads through this. When he finally returned to the teachers, the teacher saw him. He was stunned to see the face of Satyakama appearing so bright, tremendous glory on his face. And he told him, Satyakam, you are my very dear boy. You shine like one. You shine like one who knows Brahman. Who has taught you? The boy replied, well, I learnt not through the men, but bull and swan and fire, through them. But I wish, Reverend Sir, that you should teach me. For I have heard from persons like your good self that only knowledge which is learned from a teacher, Acharya, leads to the highest good. Of course, Gautama knew very well that the boy was competent and he had already realized the truth, but still, not to maintain the tradition, Gautama taught him but it was the same knowledge and nothing whatsoever was omitted. Though Satyakama doubtless thought he was taught the knowledge of Brahman by a bull, fire, etc., and not by any human being, yet the real fact seems to lie elsewhere. According to deeper psychological and spiritual laws, we know it was Satyakama's own pure mind which has become his teacher. Because his mind was so pure, he could grasp, he could understand, he could get awakening. So great spiritual teachers point out that the higher mind in pure aspirants becomes their teacher. It is no wonder that such a phenomenon occurred in Sri Ramakrishna, whose mind was firmly set on realizing God and who was pure as purity itself. Sri Ramakrishna later on revealed to his devotees this spiritual marvel. Sri Ramakrishna explained to the devotees, well, the figure of a young sannyasin looking like me used to come out again and again from within me and instruct me on all matters. When he emerged, sometimes I had a little consciousness and at other times lost it altogether and lay inert, only seeing and hearing his actions and words. When afterwards he entered this gross body, I regained full consciousness. That's how Sri Ramakrishna explains. The Brahmani, Totapuri, all others, they came one after another and they taught him afterwards what he had already heard from him, from his own being, inner being previously. So Sri Ramakrishna says, they taught me what I had already known. It seems from this that they came as gurus in my life in order that the authority of the scriptures, such as the Vedas, might be maintained by my honoring their injunctions. Another important quality we should note when you study Upanishads. What is that? It is renunciation. Renunciation is one of the most basic teachings of the Upanishads. Again and again, in so many ways they talk about that. In its perfect form, it is represented by the monastic ideal in them. Since it is not possible to attain the highest knowledge without perfect renunciation, meaning without renouncing all desires and enjoyments here and hereafter, therefore the spirit of renunciation is so much emphasized. That's why when somebody asked Sri Ramakrishna whether Mathur Babu, who served Sri Ramakrishna so well, serving God, was this his last birth? Does he get liberation? Sri Ramakrishna said, no. He will have to be born again because he has got little desire. That should be burned. That desire must be over. Then he will get liberation. That means there should not be any trace of desire. Renunciation means total mind is sitting at the lotus feet of God. That's called renunciation. So, Upanishad says, not by work, nor by progeny, nor by wealth, by renunciation alone, one attains immortality. Kaivalya Upanishad says that. Yajnavalkya, a great Upanishadic sage, the author of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, He says, the knowers of Brahman of olden times did not wish for offspring, thinking, what shall we do with offspring? We who have attained this self, this world, they gave up their desires for sons, for wealth, and for the worlds, and led the life of religious mendicants. That which is the desire for sons is the desire for wealth, and that which is the desire for wealth is the desire for the worlds. For both these indeed are but desires. Therefore, who knows it, Brahman, as such, becomes self-controlled, calm, withdrawn into himself, patient and collected. He sees the self in his own self. He sees all as itself. Sri Ramakrishna represents in his life, in this age, the highest ideal of renunciation upheld by the Upanishads. In him, in Sri Ramakrishna, the desire for wealth and social security, name and glory was rooted out. By looking upon all women as images of the Divine Mother, and by directing all their love in his human heart towards God as Mother, Sri Ramakrishna completely conquered the sex instinct. It is the sex instinct that drags you, that pulls you towards the world. Thus, Sri Ramakrishna had become a perfect sannyasin in spirit. Still, when his Vedantic teacher, Totapuri, came to Dakshineshwar and offered to initiate him into sannyasa in the traditional way, Sri Ramakrishna readily agreed. You know, before sannyasa ashrama, they perform homa. It's called Viraja Homa. So Viraja Homa was performed. Sri Ramakrishna received the vows of complete renunciation with the ochre robe, and thus came to uphold the instruction of the monasticism as well as its spirit. Swami Vivekananda says in his complete works, renunciation is the way. Renunciation is the very soul of the Upanishads. And Sri Ramakrishna was a reincarnation of that soul. Swami Vivekananda says, renunciation is the very soul of the Upanishads. And Sri Ramakrishna was a reincarnation of that soul. Having been established in the knowledge of the all-pervading Brahman, he maintained relationship with his wife, which was entirely spiritual. His relationship, Sri Ramakrishna's relationship with his wife, Sri Sharda Devi, was entirely spiritual. He saw in her, as in all, the blissful Brahman alone. Thus came to be realized in his life the truth contained in the verse of the Shvetashvatara Upanishad. Shvetashvatara Upanishad, there is a passage which tells, thou art woman, thou art man, thou art youth and maiden too. Thou as an old man totterest along on a staff. It is thou alone who, when born, assumest diverse forms. Swami Vivekananda, in the course of a dialogue with one of his disciples, once revealed how Sri Ramakrishna used especially to inculcate this spirit of uncompromising renunciation and dispassion in his young disciples who were to become monks. When Sri Ramakrishna used to instruct his sannyasin disciples, Sri Ramakrishna would rise from his seat and look about to see if any household disciple was coming that way or not. If he found none, then in glowing words he would depict the glory of renunciation and austerity. As a result of the rousing power of that fiery dispassion, we have renounce the world and become averse to worldliness. Swamiji says, Swami Vivekananda says. So, one must develop discrimination and dispassion. Very important to have any progress in our spiritual life. Page 718, 719. Sri Ramakrishna spoke to the young Brahmin. Master said, give up knowledge and reasoning, accept bhakti. Bhakti alone is the essence. Is this the third day of your stay here? Brahmin said with folded hands, yes, sir. Master said, have faith. Depend on God. Then you will not have to do anything yourself. Mother Kali will do everything for you. Jnana goes as far as the outer court, but bhakti can enter the inner court. The pure self is attached. The pure self is unattached. The pure self is unattached. Both vidya and avidya are in it, but it is unattached. Sometimes there's a good and sometimes a bad smell in the air, but the air itself is unaffected. Once Vyasadeva was about to cross the Jamuna. The gopis also were there. They wanted to go to the other side of the river to sell curd, milk and cream. But there was no ferry at the time. They were all worried about how to cross the river when Vyasa said to them, I am very hungry. The milkmaids fed him with milk and cream. He finished almost all their food. Then Vyasa said to the river, O Jamuna, if I have not eaten anything, then your waters will part and we shall walk through. It so happened. The river parted and a pathway was formed between the waters. Following that path, the gopis and Vyasa crossed the river. Vyasa had said, if I have not eaten anything, that means the real man is pure Atman. Atman is unattached and beyond Prakriti. It has neither hunger nor thirst. It knows neither birth nor death. It doesn't age nor does it die. It is immutable as Mount Sumeru. He who has attained this knowledge of Brahman is a Jivan Mukta, liberated while living in the body. He rightly understands that the Atman and the body are two separate things. After realizing God, one does not identify the Atman with the body. These two are separate like the kernel and the shell of the coconut when its milk dries up. The Atman moves, as it were, within the body. When the milk of worldly mindedness has dried up, one gets self-knowledge. Then one feels that Atman and body are two separate things. The kernel of a green almond or betel nut cannot be separated from the shell. But when they are ripe, the juice dries up and the kernel separates from the shell. After the attainment of the knowledge of Brahman, the milk of worldly mindedness dries up. But it is extremely difficult to attain the knowledge of Brahman. One doesn't get it by merely talking about it. Some people find it. Smiling. There is a man who was a great liar. But on the other hand, he used to say he had the knowledge of Brahman. When someone took him to task for telling lies, he said, why? This world is truly like a dream. If everything is unreal, then can truth itself be real? Truth is as unreal as falsehood. All laugh. Sri Ramakrishna sat with the devotees on the mat on the floor. He was smiling. He said to the devotees, please stroke my feet gently. They carried out his request. He said to them, there's a great significance in this. Placing his hand on his heart, the Master said, if there is anything here, then through this service, the ignorance and illusion of the devotees will be completely destroyed. shall stop here. Any questions, comments, discussions? The mother wanted Sri Ramakrishna to marry and also to set an ideal for the householders. Married life doesn't mean a sex life, in order to show that highest ideal. And there's a spiritual interpretation for Sri Ramakrishna marrying Sharada Devi. Both maintained their purity level. Both didn't have any sex instinct. And that's why both got the spiritual realization in their own life. So, to set an ideal, spiritual ideal for the people, they were married. And moreover, that concept, the Divine Mother of the universe, how Holy Mother could realize that because of her purity, she could really feel the whole universe is hers, all are her children. And she treated them all in that way. Even the robber is my child, mother would say. That is the real motherhood. Sri Ramakrishna's mother thought Sri Ramakrishna is going mad. So in order to stop his madness, they thought if he is married, that madness will go. That was the ordinary way of thinking. But later on, she might have come to know about Sri Ramakrishna later on, but we don't know much about it. But Sri Ramakrishna knew the quality, the worth of Holy Mother. Equally, Holy Mother knew very well the quality and worth of Sri Ramakrishna. Both knew each other. So, Holy Mother would always say, if you worship me, you are worshipping Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna would say, if you worship me, you are worshipping Holy Mother. The total oneness. There is no separation. So that identity, that is spiritual identity. It's called spiritual identity. Anything else? No question? All right, we'll stop. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust raging furiously within. O name streamed down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself, O self, drowned deep in the waves of his bliss, tasting his nectar at every step, bathing in his name, that bath for weary souls. Various are thy names, O Lord, in each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass. Be patient and forbearing like a tree. Take no honor to thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue. The playthings of lust or the toys of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is thy servant, O sweet one. In thy mercy, consider him as dust beneath thy feet. Ah, how I long for the day when an instant's separation from thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns away with its desire, and the world without thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at thy feet let me be, in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O thou who stealest the hearts of thy devotees, do with me what thou wilt, for thou art my heart's beloved, thou and thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers. May all realize what is good. May all be actuated by noble thoughts. May all rejoice everywhere. May all be happy. May all be free from disease. May all realize what is good. May none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous. May the virtuous attain tranquility. May the tranquil be free from bonds. May the freed make others free. May good betide all people. May the sovereign righteously rule the earth. May all beings ever attain what is good. May the worlds be prosperous and happy. May the clouds pour rain in time. May the earth be blessed with crops. May all countries be freed from calamity. May holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied. For he being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.